Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. I hope everyone is doing well today, inshallah. We are running a little bit late today. Brother Ibrahim is just running a little bit late. So while we're waiting for him to just join, have we got anybody that would like me to see out any comments? Just saying salam to everyone that is already on and been putting comments in already. It's so nice to see that so many people support us so soon and already into our journey. So assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone's doing good. I'm just actually trying to get things ready. We're going on another trip soon. So with children, it's difficult. We're trying to get ready this morning and the morning seems to have gone fast so quickly. But alhamdulillah, God is good to us and we're so lucky that we get to go on different trips all the time. So yeah, it's good. I hope everyone is well. Oh, I see brother has joined. So I'll just give him a couple of minutes and we'll get started, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I was just talking naff. I was just talking about us going away and stuff.
Don't worry about it. I do apologize for being late. I've not got the waking up in the morning thing sorted out yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is like my afternoon. Well, this is, I think, most people's afternoon at this point.
Oh, I know it's terrible. The one thing I can't seem to do is wake up in the morning, and I don't know if there's something in the food because like when I'm up, I can't rest. Like I'm always sweating and doing stuff and fired up, but getting up in the morning, I just can't seem to do it. I don't know what it is. It's funny because I was looking into food today, and you know, in soybean, there's the same amount of estrogen in one soybean as there is in a birth control pill, and that's in all the food around the world now. And then you wonder why guys are just so like, and I even have a bit of it in the morning where you're just like, oh well, I'm tired and I'm sad, and it's like it's not as rough like.
Yeah, my husband actually, it's been quite a while. He said this to me about soya and food. So when I buy him food, I have to look because he doesn't eat any soya because of the same thing. And he's like, I don't want to eat anything with soya in it. And everything has got soya in it. Like even if you buy like, the vegetarian sausages and stuff that you buy, anything it's got soya in it. Most of the food has to really be fresh made if you want to avoid all of that process.
Well, I think it's more nefarious than people want to let on. I see it as a form of warfare. I think it all goes back to the current financial system with the whole fiat and riba thing. And if you look throughout history, every time someone, because like riba and fiat are banned in the Torah, well, the Torah's maybe, the Talmud it's not. The Bible is banned in, Quran is waging war against God. And the whole world's running it. And whenever a country does riba or fiat, you can't escape it. It becomes hell because it ends up being worth nothing. And you can see with what's going on now that they're trying to clamor at keeping the system up because it's about to collapse, like Weimar Germany did before the wars and stuff. And they need people to die pretty much, because if you don't, then their heads will go off. If you brought in a gold-backed currency now, because of all the dependency, the addiction and despair, people would starve because they're not productive. Like all the people on welfare, or the young guys now. Like a young guy, I seen like there's an epidemic of like 16-year-old guys who have like 100 milligrams per deciliter testosterone, which is like the bottom of the barrel. They have the same, like a 30-year-old man now has the same test as a 60-year-old in the 50s. And people want to glamorize the 50s. I think it was kind of like a quite cucked period. So it's really bad. So if you change the system now, people would die, people would come for you. So they need people to die off. I think that's what the whole like was. And all this sort of stuff. So they're putting stuff in food just to slowly watch you. Because like, if you look at it, 90% of diseases that exist now didn't exist 100 years ago, and neither did 90% of the food in supermarkets. I think with the whole atheism thing that they brought in, and the trademark, the science, was to disprove God. And if you're an atheist and you see that like 2 out of, what is it, not like 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3 people get cancer in their life, if you're an atheist because you've been fed lies, you'd believe that. But when you know there is a God, you go, well, he wouldn't exactly make us his highest form of creation and then put us on this planet to just die of demons flying through the sky. Like, you know what I mean? So it's very inconspicuous. It's an interesting time to be alive, anyway.
It definitely is. It's definitely an interesting time to be alive and to have children. And yeah, it is. I just wanted to say salam. Really, I've not even said assalamu alaikum, and I hope you're well. I've been seeing your channel grow and your Instagram grow, and mashallah, brother, you've been doing such good work, and I'm really happy for
Thank
you
you.
that everything's going so well. Even in the short space of time that I've been on here, I've just seen you blow up. So it's great to see
It's
you.
funny. It's funny because I the reason I have because I haven't posted on YouTube in like 3 days because I think I posted six. You know what it is, right? And I think I'm trying to combat this with a beard. Is that when
And I
people would
noticed you've got a bit.
when people would click on my videos, I think they'd expect me to be like, baby, 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 and I'm just like, Sharia now, everyone in jail, and it's kind of like shocks their brain. I think
Yeah.
I got like 750,000 views from 6 videos on YouTube, and I
Wow.
decided I don't want to like become this clout lord influencer, so I stopped posting, and yeah, it just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to posting soon, but just been busy with diagram and stuff like that, you know.
And we'll
Keep
definitely get
yourself occupied.
loads of questions about that. Inshallah, we'll get onto that. I've seen it's going to be big, so it's great. It's really exciting time. You've been, like I said, you've been online recently. I've seen you everywhere, and I've seen you grow. But on a more serious note, I know you were a member of the War Room. We discussed this, I think, last time we were on the live, and and as well as a true believer of Islam, you are. But the organisation is run by another Muslim revert named Andrew Tate, and both the organisation and Brother Andrew Tate are currently facing some serious allegations. But as you know, Andrew Tate is no longer on house arrest. And before that even happened, there's other influencers like Abba and Preach who are basically trying to hurt his chances of freedom. And Abba's an apostate, he's an ex-Muslim, and he was basically, mocking him and mocking Islam. And they described the organization as a course to where Andrew Tate teaches members to manipulate women into cam work for them. I mean, is this true? And if not, what is the organization about, and how did it help you?
You know what? I said there's a lot to talk about. It's funny because I think you know what, the internet's a really funny place because like just one anecdote. Since I reverted, a lot of the old friends I have been like kind of running their mouth, and then I bump into them in person, and they just don't say anything or do anything. Like the internet is a gamma male hive, and a gamma like people in this manosphere red pill nonsense world. They talk about alphas and betas, where it's all about like if you're an alpha male, if you can get 5 drinks on a girl and bang her and tell her to kill the kid, it's like no. And then they say a beta male is the guy who can't do that. It's all garbage. A gamma male is the guy who wants to be the quote unquote, he wants to be the boss without paying the cost, and the internet is just riddled with these guys because of anonymity and because they're behind a screen. They just run their mouth, but in person they're just like, hey, sorry, and it's like, all right then, so everything you said you didn't mean and you don't want to back it up.
Yeah.
So when you see all this like chit chat online, it's interesting. I it's hard to talk about because when you join the war, I mean, you're under an NDA. Frankly, I don't really care, but yeah, there is a bit of that. There was a bit of that. I'm not in the rooms where that goes on. I don't know if it's still operating or not. I'm not signing off on it. I don't like it. I think people who do webcam, people who do pornography should be in prison. I wouldn't have any. I wouldn't. I don't think there's any debate for that. I think the if you can't argue, if you want to go back to banning fornication and making it marriage for procreation only, which is I think is the norm. I think that's what it should be. If you're going to allow webcamming and prostitution and pornography, you're never going to fight that. So I don't like it. I don't know if it still goes on because I'm not in the rooms where that. I'd like to think it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's all about intention, in my opinion. Because say Andrew did that when he, because if you're fed this like atheism, get what's yours, and you're dealing with women who are promiscuous and they like break your heart, and you have a kind of like a victim mindset, then why not put them on webcam? I get how you could come to that conclusion if it's like this cruel world and you have to get what's yours. But since he's reverted, I'd like to think he doesn't do it anymore. I can't tell you if he does or not. I don't think he does, which is a step in the right direction. I just personally don't have any tolerance for stuff like that. I think any form of prostitution, pornography should be prison time or worse. And if you look at Sharia, if you look into Sharia law, which is kind of like my true love, the prosecution for that would be far worse. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. I just think I don't know, because I'm a very different character. Where I posted this on my Telegram, my Instagram, like 2 weeks ago, and I'm not saying this to be like, oh, cool fantasies and everything, because like as a guy when you're young, when you're like 13, you'll put on 50 Cent, and you'll be like, and then the shooter came in and I beat him up and then I kissed the guy. Like I'm not doing that. It's like I can't. I was thinking on a walk. I was like, when they started going into schools and they were like, be a sodomite to your kids. I'm not doing fantasy stuff here. I'm not trying to be cool. I don't understand how guys just never like took knives and started taking like I don't, because they're molesting your kids to kill themselves at 30 and have sex with a poop hole, and guys are just like, oh yeah, fine, that's what it is. I'm not of that ilk. So when I find it hard to have compassion. I understand if you were in that world when you didn't have faith, because like I've done inconspicuous things and haram relationships and all that sort of stuff. So I understand people can change in that. I would like to think he has. I don't know, because I'm not in that sector of the organization which runs that. But it's interesting anyway. I looked at some of the court case files. Some of that was not very good, which I'm not going to lie about. And I don't care if it, because I could ride the clout wave and get endorsement for Diagram with big names. I don't care. I'm not signing off on stuff that is haram's haram regardless. So yeah, it's interesting. I try just to stay away from that world in general. You know what I mean? Because I don't have Twitter. Someone else runs my Instagram. I don't check YouTube comments because it's consent based. It's like I'm consenting to put my word out to the internet, and it's not like the reason I made Diagram is so I could interact with people and not get banned, because what is the owner going to ban me? So but when you go on YouTube and stuff like that, you'll say something very like I'll say something normal here and I'll be like, I don't think kids should be molested in public schools, and some guy in the comments will be like, yeah, but I love when you get to see a teen girl on the internet and you're Satan, and I don't check that. I don't even want it near me. I don't want it in my head because it's sticky and like I don't know. I don't like it. So I'm very out of that world at the moment. I try not to ever dip back in.
Yeah, the YouTube comments are sometimes insane. I get some insane comments as well. I actually don't read them all sometimes because, they're just mental.
I don't read any. I think if you want my honest opinion with things like YouTube, because I'm making my own, they don't make money. If you have fiat currency which can be printed into oblivion, you no longer need it doesn't matter about making money. It's about harvesting consciousness, because what we make the money. What are you going to care about YouTube's profit and losses when you can just go, how much do you need? How much do you need to send kids to an island? $1 billion. Boop. There you go. So that if you look at who owns YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Amazon, all these companies are all public companies that have the main shareholders, BlackRock and Vanguard, who have, I think, a combined $20 trillion in asset management, and Vanguard's the only publicly limited company that you can't find anything about. So people say Elon owns Twitter and things like that. No, if I start Diagram and I make it a public company, and an outside investor like BlackRock comes in and goes, promote butt stuff, promote sodomy, promote the breaking of the family, make women whores, and we'll give you 10 billion. I am the owner, but I'm public and I'm beholden to what they tell me to do. So it's kind of like when you go into the supermarket and you see all these different options of toothpaste, with fluoridated chemicals. You go, oh, I can have Colgate, or I can have this brand, and then you look at who owns them, and it's Two Brothers and BlackRock. So it's like false choice, Yeah. So with things like YouTube, and this isn't conspiracy stuff, it's just look throughout history and look what's going on. Their system's about to collapse and they need people to die off. So I think the whole purpose of YouTube, you're not for it, it's for you. Mm-hmm. Why is it free? They don't make any money. It's like I talk about with the pornography industry. Do you think that makes a penny? It's all free. All free. 35% of the entire internet's traffic is internet pornography. Do you think that's free? Do you think they make money on it? No, they'll just keep it up, and because they can print infinite money, they just go, what are you doing? You castrating all the men and dropping the birth rate? Yeah, print, keep it up another year. That's all it is. And then when an independent guy like me comes along, you don't have that. You're playing Monopoly against people who just take money out the box.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when you look at the derivatives market. The entire world is $2,000 trillion in debt. So a million millions is a billion, 1,000 thousands is a million millions a billion, a billion, not even 100 million billion, a billion billion is a trillion, 2,000 trillion in debt. So it's like when people think that like YouTube and Instagram are just legitimate businesses that are there to help you, I think it's there to kill you off, because they can't just round people up and kill them, because then there'd be backlash. If you went around 50 million houses and said, we're going to teach your kids how to be sodomites, we're going to groom them, and we're going to maybe 1% who aren't completely riddled with castration and fluoride like me would take something to them and mash them up. So they can't do it for backlash. So they have to get you to do it to yourself. So they'll give you YouTube. They'll give women the WAP by Cardi B and Megan the Pony and all these people, and they'll get the women to become promiscuous. So they don't have kids and guys don't want them. If you go on Instagram's just porn.
Yeah.
Like my algorithm is just, I don't even go on it. And when I go on it, it's nice. And then I'll click on one reel and it'll be Islamic, and I'll flick and it'll just be like, look at my tits. I'm like, what is it's there to kill you. Why is it free? Like, if you look at how much server costs and how much server costs and bandwidth and user retention, because I'm doing it myself, these companies don't make a penny. You're the product. That's why it's free. So when it comes to YouTube comments and all that stuff, I don't even take offense to it, because I see it as just cattle that are getting lined up for the slaughter, in it. So you have like, this is why I love in the Quran and the Bible, where it talks about you know them by their fruits. A good tree can't bear bad fruits. A bad tree can't bear good fruits. Because I don't want to be like mean or anything, but these guys that sit in your comments and they're like, oh, really? You want to cover up and be a human being? Well, I want to jerk off. They're going to be dead in 10 years. Imagine when their supply chains break down, their food breaks down, their free funny money goes away, because all they did was bomb Muslim countries to keep their their funny money dollar. When that goes away, these people are just dead. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of yearn for it. I have no sympathy for them. I don't think anyone's a victim in this world. So, yeah, with things like YouTube, Instagram, I don't engage with them at all. I put stuff up. If people want to listen, they can, but I don't care for public opinion, because I don't think their opinion's very valid in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're very honest today. I can say that you're on a mission today to be very honest.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't like I just don't like the cucking thing, because you see this all the time, and I'm not going to call names or anything, but you just see like once guys get a big channel and all that, they're just like, they start cucking on things because they get sponsorship deals and everything becomes like, I don't know, I don't like it. I don't really care. I think when you don't want anything, I'm not going to lie, right? And I was going to say this at the start. I don't have any friends here, because they're all just like, well, you don't want to go do drugs and drink and be dead for a week. So they don't want to be your pal. So all I do is work and go for a walk. So when I do live streams, it's like getting to talk to someone. So I'm not like, you know what I mean? I don't really care about views or that. It's like you get to speak to someone who's like not a complete idiot, and it's great.
That's why you need a family. Because if I'm honest, like I don't have many friends. I have maybe 1, 2 at the most. And I don't actually have, when you get a family, you don't have time for friends. You don't actually need them. So brother, you need to find yourself a good Muslim woman and build yourself a family, inshallah.
Yeah, 100%. I think that, you know what, it's kind of funny, because when you look at the birth rate and all this stuff, and I really think family is your strength. One TV show I like, I don't ever watch TV, but one show I like is Peaky Blinders, right? And that you get the sense of like, when you have a family that's like not raised in like a premium Satan experience, where it's like porn by 6 in school being taught to be LGTV. It's like, once you don't have that and everyone's like a living human being, I think family is your strength. And it's kind of great, because I think the main issue nowadays is the birth rate. No one's having kids. I think Reba's a big problem with that. Like in the UK, a bungalow is 700k. Dependency, people won't give up. I think what they do is they've gotten young women and young men to, you need to be in the Lambo with a Louis Vuitton purse, and people won't live below their means, which means they won't have a family, because their entire identity is based on external material stuff. But if you can see through that, it's funny because the way to beat the current silent war that's going on is to have a lot of unprotected sex with your wife and have kids. And I'm not complaining about that, frankly. You know, I think there's been other generations where it's been difficult. Like you would have to go into battle and face guys with a sword, and now it's like, get your wife pregnant. What a horrible, horrible, horrible problem to have. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, you're very true. Just to go back to what we were talking about, I did notice that Abba and Preach had put up some screenshots between conversations between Andrew Tate and some supposed victim was supposed to be his ex. And they went on to say that Andrew Tate showed this to members in the war room and stuff like that. And I know you've seen that you're not really aware of any of that. And we should be clear and say that Andrew Tate and his brother did say that, that the screenshots were fake, and they showed how you can make the screenshots fake. Did you ever see anything like that? Any screenshots of anything going on?
Yeah. It's funny. Like I don't even care if I get kicked out or not. But I've looked into stuff. I know the whistleblower, and I know he's legit. His name's Eli. I'm so getting kicked out after this. I don't care. But some of it's legit. Yeah, I looked into the court case, and their assistant Georgina, who calls herself the devil's favorite witch, which should set off alarm bells. They would take, and these aren't fraud, they're in the Romanian form of like the CIA or something. They would they would tell their whores to get breast implants, and then if they didn't hit a target, Georgina would cut the stitching. And I'm not signing off on that for clout, frankly. So it's hard to tell. It's all smoke and mirrors at the moment. I would like to think people have changed. I don't have the tremendous amount of sympathy. It's kind of like you could say, you could justify the webcamming stuff with but the guys are the ones who wanted it. And it's like, well, if a woman is out in a nightclub filled with pills and off her face on alcohol and drugs, and she's being promiscuous, and you RAPED'd her, well, yeah, she's an idiot, but you also did that, and you're a criminal. And a lot of, I'm not signing off on it. You're taking people's inheritance. You know, a lot of the guys that got rummaged of money for webcam stuff, that money would have been left to their kids, breaking families. I'm not signing off on it, frankly. Don't have any sympathy. Now, if that stopped, I'm willing to listen, but I would, I don't know, I'm just not signing off on it. Don't have any sympathy. I don't think you're a victim in this world. I think what people need to watch out for, and there's a certain group of people who I will not name, the redacted people that begin with a J, frankly, where they're an eternal victim, allegedly. Could it be allegedly? A lot of people got maybe allegedly turned to soap or whatever. I don't really think it's legit. So if you're a victim, you can then just go genocide Palestine people, and you can just round them up, put them in camps, kill them for 40 years. Because if you're a victim, you put on this cloak where you can do whatever you want, and because poor me, because you see it as vendetta, or you see it as martyrdom, and I don't like it.
Well, it's the first time I've heard anyone be so honest about everything that's going on. I think a lot of people sort of tend to just brush it under the carpet and say that it's not true, but I mean,
your Quran says fear God more than man, and I don't think people would treat that with enough sincerity, frankly. No, and I think this with everything. Like when people get all scared in that about certain people or the quote unquote new world order or whatever, it's like, who do you fear more, a guy in an office or God? You know, I think if you follow, this is why I don't like the whole Bible story of Jesus, because it's like, why would you follow God if he got killed by a bunch of J's? It's stupid, because so Jesus took the form of God and man, allegedly, and then he followed God's laws so perfectly, yet he still got killed. Why would you follow? It's dumb. I think when you follow the teachings of God and you honor them, I think you have protection. I don't think anything can hurt you. Half the time as well, and I've seen this with people who do this, a lot of the fear that you have for getting prosecuted, oftentimes you're getting kicked out of hell. If you say I had say I was a big influencer and I had sponsorships and I was beholden to what people told me to do and I didn't do it and I got kicked out, well, now you're no longer a slave, So I think a lot of times when you're honest and you don't fear what another man with oxygen and a pair of balls says, and you fear God more, you often end up better rewarded. Now, obviously, it requires faith because it's silent and it's subtle, but I think that's the way to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's definitely true. So it's yeah, there's a lot going on, and I think that we have to be careful sometimes what we say, what we believe. You don't really know anything until it's sort of happened, or till it's been decided by a judge and a jury. And even then, sometimes, if I'm honest, even then we don't really know what's actually happened.
Yeah, I try not to make a claim when you don't know. That's why I make a conscious effort to always say my opinion, because half the time you don't know. And
Yeah,
it's just speculation.
yeah, yeah. I think Abba Preach even accused him of grape, which is a wild allegation. And I think that Abba has actually been accused of a similar thing in the army, and he actually
Yeah,
came out.
people project. I think half the time with these Muslim apologists, it's probably just because they're perverts and got kicked out.
Yeah,
And then they're just like, oh, I tried to jerk off at the mosque and they didn't like it, and they're terrorists. And it's like, nah, you're a perv and I'm good riddance. You know what I mean? Because these apologist guys and that, I don't know, it's just like, it's telling because they don't do anything and they just obsess about other guys. I think, there's an interesting book I read which is quite funny. It's called A Billion Wicked Thoughts, and it broke down Christians in America and their search histories, and it's hilarious. I think the second most naughty internet stuff search was cucking. And I think a lot of these apologist guys are just like, well, I'm weak and sad, and I just, like, you'll know this, and I don't want to be offensive, but you know how, like, when women are dissatisfied with a guy, they'll shit test them to try and, like, get a rise out of him, and because he'll be like, oh, well, I'm just watching TV and I'm sad, and she'll be like, why are you brushing your teeth there? Brush them downstairs. I just cleaned it. And she wants him to be like, no, shut up. And they just go, oh, sorry. I think a lot of these apologist guys are like shit testing Muslim guys because they want them to turn around and slap them and take their wife because it like gets them off. I'm genuinely being serious. Because they don't do anything. Like even like David Wood and that. Where's the Christian social media? Where's the Christian influence that stops all your daughters being whores? Where's your educational platform which teaches young men how to navigate the world and use it? You don't fucking do anything. Sorry for swearing. You don't do anything. They just sit there and whine and bitch. And then you see like all this financial stuff going on where the cost of living's getting nuts. And the best way to kill people off isn't to point a gun at their head, it's to get them dependent and take it away. And they're taking it away. Like you're dependent on the police for your protection, you're dependent on the supermarket for your food, dependent on the water supply for your water, dependent on electricity for your heating, dependent on the news for your education. You don't do anything, and that's all going to get taken away. And I think these people are just going to die, and I have no sympathy for them, frankly.
You're right, actually, now that I think about it, like a lot of these, like David Wood and Apostate Prophet, like they're all like so hell bent on hating Islam, but they don't actually have anything to promote Christianity, to do any dawah.
No, they don't, because they don't care. I think it gets them off. If you want my genuine, because I get this all the time in comment sections where like some Christian guy would be like, oh, you're so aggressive and violent. Just come cuck my wife. Like you can tell that's what they want. They're like, you're so bad and aggressive. And I'm like, you're a cuck. You're projecting. Because they don't do anything. Like nothing goes on. They're like, and it's not even them. It's like when you go up and like higher into like the Islamic world, why didn't Bin Salman make Dawagram? Why is he now making nightclubs legal? Like they're once people get to this state of influence, they start cucking on things for money and comforts. And I think that's why I'm nipping it in the bud before I properly blow up with things like today, because I don't want that near me, because then you're no longer a living man. You're just a being you're an animal. The thing that separates man and animals is when an animal's scared, it runs. When it's hungry, it eats. When it's horny, it fucks. We as men can go, I'm hungry, no. I'm scared, I'm facing it. I'm horny, no. Like we can do that. And when you just throw that away and you're like, you just cocked everything, you're no longer even a man. And again, fear God more than man. Or do you really follow that? You know what I mean? Do you fear God, or do you fear losing sponsorships more? Now, I'm not judging hearts, but I have evidence and patterns I'm noticing. You know what I mean?
It depends if you believe in God in the first place. Sometimes that is a problem. So Dawagram, so how did that come to be? I mean, was that sort of after, I mean, it was after you reverted to Islam, but was it something that you always sort of thought about doing, or was it just after you reverted to Islam? Can you tell us about it and sort of what its purpose and vision is for the future?
I just got annoyed. Like, so like I too much had it 5 months ago, but I've had a Quran for like nearly 10 months. And I was looking into hadiths and things like that for a long time. And I started posting, and then two of my videos got striked because I made a video about riba and I said the word regarding that for context, and they striked me. And then I made another video about how children, like if a young girl goes on Twitter and types in hashtag hijab, corn comes up. And I went, how are people not blowing stuff up at this rate? Striked me. And I just thought, like, people, you know what people do? They pedestalize other people. So people will see a guy like Elon Musk who can't talk straight, wants to put a chip in your brain, has corn on Twitter, and is trying to go to space where I don't think you can go, frankly. Just like whenever there's whenever the people in control see a group of people who are opposing them, they have to control it. So if you look at the Vietnam War, when people realized it was just for banking, it wasn't like mean Vietnamese people, it was just fiat currency and getting people to use the dollar. They started protesting. So the best way to nip that in the bud isn't to like go and round them up. It's to give them an idol, put them in there, and then they lead them astray. So then they put in all the hippy dippy festival people and throwing flowers at police officers and peace and love, and then it makes it look stupid. So you see these idols like Zuck and Elon, and they're there to make you think you have a hero and you don't need to be one yourself. And when I got striked, I just thought, like, the woman who runs YouTube, I'm not going to mention her name, amazing, you're so beautiful and gorgeous, please don't strike me. I would love to marry you. I was like, she's not smarter than me, she's not better than me, she doesn't know things I don't know. Why can't I just go make my own? Like, they are a person who decided to do something. Well, so am I. Like, when you get rid of this victim mentality, and I always preface this, like I say this in every video because it's the big one. If a guy can just go more than like 2 months without squirting your little pants, right, and stop being a perv, and you just go, like, testosterone, what it does is it makes you enjoy challenges. Like, it makes you go, yeah, let's do it. And I just thought, okay, so they strike me. Well, I can complain like everyone else and go, oh, YouTube, they're a private company. Do what you want. Don't care. If you want to, like, I get why it's there. It's to make people die. I'm making my own. So now I have Diagram. I can say whatever I want. Who's going to ban me? No one. If people want to go on and make content, who's going to ban them? No one. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. You know what I mean? It's like, people need to stop. This is the idol thing as well. You sit there and you go, oh, Elon, Zuck, they're so much better than me. They're so smart. No, they're not. They're just guys that like wake up and take a shit and go to the toilet. They have problems. They know stuff. Go know what they know and go do something. Like, this idea that these people are so, like, because you're fed through the schooling system this appeal to authority thing where it's like the teacher has the teacher's uniform on. She's above you. The doctor has the cloak on. He's above you. The politician has a suit on. No, they're not. They're just people. They're just dudes who do stuff. They're probably not even as good as you. Just go do your own thing. So now, when Diagram's coming out, it's independent. It's not public, so no one can tell me what to do. Is the owner of Diagram going to ban me? No, because I own it. If you go on and you talk about stuff as you know, these people going to ban you for not promoting Cardi B? No, because it's independent. We have what it also does, and one group of people who does this very well, again, the redacted sort of people, where they only trade in between themselves. So like they'll provide services for the quote unquote GOY, and then they'll take the money into their circle and they'll pay more to support one of them than take it back out, and that's how they acquire all this wealth. We have independent business vendors in there. We have live streaming. There's a no haram policy, so kids can go on and there's unlimited content, but no like degeneracy. Why someone like Bin Salman not done it? Why is someone like I don't know, why have a lot of people not done that? I don't know. I think people just want to I think a lot of people like to complain, because if you can I think you'll see as well a lot, and I can see this already. I think you'll see a lot of people who complain about the quote unquote haram in the world on their channels won't join Diagram, and I think that's because they want to complain, because if the complaining goes away, then they have, if you can't just obfuscate your problems and responsibility onto other people, then you have to realize that you have something to do about it. You have to take responsibility. So it's far easier just to go and you pump in some corn into them, some fluoride, some corn syrup, and that's all it'll do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've made that. So it's a safe haven on the internet. You can go on, you can learn anything you want, you can post anything you want, as long as it's not like obviously haram.
Yep.
Independent. I'm never making it public, because I can make it public and be a billionaire in like a month, because but all it would happen is, who would be investing in it? People that it is real, and you'd only get the money if you promote death. So I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So it's like a little safe haven. It's great. I think what people need to do is stop doing the victim thing. You're not a victim. When people are like, oh, they hurt me, they persecuted me. No, you're on like with YouTube. I'm on a private platform owned by people who want me dead. I have to understand that they are not going to allow me to tell people not to take riba and do sodomy. So I'm going to make my own, because you're not any different than them. You can do it. Now, obviously, it's expensive and it's headache, but again, like I said, if you're a guy, go a while without doing your stuff, and you'll want to do it. If you have a clear head, empty stomach, and a full pair of balls, you'll want to do it. There's a reason why they tried to stop that.
Yeah. How's the process been in creating it? I can see that from what I've seen on your social media, I know I can tell it's been a bit difficult, or it's been challenging, but how's it actually been to create?
Yeah, it's fun. It can be stressful, but you quite like the stress. I wouldn't say it's stress. I think it's more just like, you know what? Young guys get hit with this marketing nowadays, that they need external things to validate themselves, or not even that. They need to be hardworking and want the grind and grind set. It's like, no, you cut out haram, which makes the process easier. Because if I still had TikTok and I was like, engaging in zina, and I was eating shit food, and I was listening to music, and my head was full of nonsense, I would hate to then sit down and work. But because I don't, I'm like, let's get it done, So it can be fun. It's a lot to learn. You know what? It's funny. I made a joke that you get these women, like in Christianity, is that there's this theme now where like that Lana Rhodes woman, who I think should be in jail. They always end up going, I found Christ the Lord. I'm a born again virgin. And after, you have no idea my search history on YouTube. It's just like, hey guys, welcome back to my newest video on how to code a landing page. So today, guys, and I swear I'm a born again virgin, because that's all I've been around. It's just like every day it's like, welcome guys. So this is how you put in your coding for the app, and it's just like terrible. But it's good fun. You learn a lot of stuff. I will kind of like to see the back of the coding aspects in that, but it's always just trying to make it better and better. Like the other day I had an idea. We're adding things in, like we're adding in a so you know how you have your educational thing for how to teach young moms how to raise their kids without in a good way. We have a vendors list for courses. We have a vendors list for business. So when you go on the side tab, there's courses business, and it's independent. It keeps the money in the Islamic circle. It doesn't send it out to Israel or send it out to Timbuktu or anything. We're also adding in a community map, which I'm going to have to go through the born again virgin process for that. So what it'll be is, you have like Snapchat maps. You will have a consent based, if you want to use it, diagram map. So say supply chains break down, and you don't want to send your kid to school. There's a young mom in Glasgow near you. Oh, Muslim mom, she could take care of my kids or teach them this. And then you click on their account, it has what they do. So loads of different things. And I enjoy doing that. It's great fun. It keeps you busy. As long as you're staying out of haram, you just get stronger and stronger every day. And it doesn't really matter. It's just filling the void,
Yeah. And you'll love it once it's done, once it's up and everybody's using it. And it's because right now there's so much haram social networks, like we've said, like Instagram, Twitter, even YouTube is just full of haram content. It's hard to avoid it. Right now, like my algorithm is, a lot of my stuff is just Islam that comes up, because that's all I watch. Even my husband, we kind of just watch Islam stuff, but you do still get the occasional stuff that pops up. There's no way to get away from it.
Do you want me to blow your mind, right? Everyone watching this, you're welcome. So in you know how like when you play FIFA, the video game, you're playing against like a bot, or when you play like any online game, single player, you're playing against the bot or like ChatGPT.
Mhm.
So in 2018, this is a fact. It's not like up in the air. It's a fact. There's the dead internet theory. It's a fact though. It's not a theory. Where in 2018, the amount of bot accounts surpassed the amount of real people on the internet.
Wow.
So what happens is, and this is why it's free. It's free because you're the product. And now I think it's 9 bot accounts for every real person. So this is how it works, right? This is how they do it. You're welcome. Never going to hear this anywhere else. Anyway, so you'll go onto Instagram and you'll see an account called Hijabi's Gone Bad Bitch, and it'll have 1 million. They'll just pump it full of followers, right? They'll go, oh yeah. So what? So Muslim girls are the only ones that aren't 304s. Hijabi's gone what bad bitch. Fill it with 1 million followers, make a post and go, when he wants to marry you, but he can't afford a 700k bungalow, no thank you. Fill it with likes, fill it with bot comments that agree. And then when a real girl goes on it, she goes, yeah, these guys turn the men against the women every single time. Like, so guys would go to war, like even World War II, which was just the slaughterhouse. They would go to war and die because they loved their family so much. What is worse, that or having the people you would have once died for be your enemy? It's always the first thing you do, turn the men against the women, because then you drop the birth rate. So when a guy goes, I'm a G, Fatima, we're not getting married because I need to be my online millionaire drop shipper on my grind set with the hoes in Dubai. You're not a G, you're being duped. So it's pride. Pride's a sin for a reason. And when the women go, I'm a boss babe, I'm just out on my grind. You're not. You're a hoe who works for money which isn't real, and you murdered your kids for an Audi on finance. That's actually what you did. Get rid of the word salad. They go, oh, my body, my choice. No, you killed your offspring. It's word salad. So they turn men against the women, and then when a guy goes in, he sees women hate men, and he goes, oh, this isn't good. Anyway, time to do webcam. It's a weapon against you. Diagram has no bots because it's hard-walled. So there you go.
That's good. That's really good. And can I ask, like, how easy is it to navigate the platform? Like, how can we join up? When can we join up? I think I've already asked you this on the site.
Yeah. It'll be on the App Store in like 10 days, inshallah. I wanted it up for the 1st of August.
Yep.
But with Apple, they're hard to deal with, because if you're trying to put something up there, which isn't pushing haram, there's a lot of, and as well, because they have a monopoly. Like, so for example, that Google and Apple take 30% on all transactions. So like, you know, when you go to a shop and you pay with Visa and they take like 1%, Apple takes 30 because they're a cartel and no one can compete with them because of free funny money. They just give them it. So it's like when you go to a Ferrari dealership, not that I've ever been to one, but like they take ages to give you your car. But if you go to an independent one, you have it in a day because they have an incentive to do it correctly, whereas they're a cartel and they just have money and influence, so they don't really need to work hard. So it looks like it'll be about 10 days. And it's very easy to navigate. I'm working on welcome slides, which will show you exactly what to do. It's great. So just a little bit needs to be done, and then it should be up and running, inshallah. I've got the demo app on my phone, the only one that has it, and I'm just making sure it's all swelling well. Good to go. I have a complex of nothing can be perfect enough. You can get analysis paralysis instead of just pulling the trigger on things. Great. But yeah, inshallah, it'll do really well. And I would say I've kind of timed my internet escapades perfectly because I haven't posted in 3 months. So when I go back, everyone will be, it's not like, because a lot of people can do this thing and it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm not saying people do it for clout, or maybe people just enjoy it. But you know, when people start to get a bit of attention and it's just like 17 videos a day about nonsense, and then their view count just goes dum 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 dum. I think Napoleon had a quote, which was, if I go to the theater every day, it's normal. If I go once a month, it's an occasion. And I think I've made my online escapades on YouTube an occasion. So when I start posting again, everyone will watch it, and I can just go to Diagram, get away from your Satan experience on the internet. You're welcome. Anyway, you know.
Yeah. No, that's great. Can you tell me like how Diagram is safe for Muslim women and how it'll benefit kind of Muslim men from in terms of networking and stuff like that? Like, is there, and even in terms of like how to interact with each other?
Yeah, so we also have, so for example, because I see this with it's funny, and I have sympathy for the guys who do this. I get it. It comes back to corn. But like I'll see like Muslim women influencers when I had Instagram on my phone, and you see the comments, and it's just like, "You're so beautiful, so
I get
sexy."
comments like that, and you can't even see my face. And I
It's AIDS. It's AIDS. So what we've got is our messaging system. You can't just directly send someone a message. You first have to send them a connect request, and if they don't accept it, you can't send them a message, which stops like all these like horny Indian guys messaging you non-stop. No disrespect, but I know it's patterns. We also have a women's only section and a male only section, which is privated, and you have to request to join. So there's that sorted. And then my moderation, if anyone wants to come and start taking, I've already banned 2 people on it.
Really?
On the takes, because one guy was like, you know what? It's so funny. I don't care. Like, people can come fight me if they want. I'm not interested. But one guy was like, some woman posted something about NASA, but instead of saying NASA, it said GAY, and I thought it was very funny. And some guy was like, "Oh, this ship is sinking so fast," because a woman disagreed with him in a comment section. And I messaged him. I was like, "Just fuck off," innit? Like, I don't want these people near me. So I've already banned 2 people. So my moderation's based. You ain't getting away with like dumb stuff. Like, if people want to post interesting stuff and like cool stuff, but if you're just gonna like whine and complain, and even then you can do it. It's more just like, Cardi B isn't gonna exactly get to host her YouTube videos on there. You know what I mean? So
I know, and she is missing out. She will be missing out on that. Definitely.
I don't want her anywhere near me, mate. You know what I kind of want? I would really enjoy to set a precedence for young, because like every young guy now. In fact, Ali Dawah did something about this. A book he endorsed, which was Beauty Sick or something, and that's so true. I'm so glad he made that, because guys will complain about the promiscuity with females, which I find kind of funny, because it's like, don't bang them then. Like, is it hard? Like, just don't take your stinky dinky and put it in. Like, just stop. And he endorsed that book, and it's so true, because like young women have been told that their validation is how many guys run through them and give them attention, and it's such a spell. It's a drop birth rate. And for the guys, what was my point? The guys one is how many women they can like kind of get with. I don't know where I'm going with this. I had a point to make about this, and I can't remember what it was.
I think his book was a Beauty Sick. Someone's put in the comments. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, Beauty Sick. I had a point to make about the guys, but I can't remember what it was. Forgive me, I forgot what I was talking about.
It's okay. We'll come back to it. If you remember it, just tell me.
Yeah.
I know you're friends with Bobby Risto. I've done some stuff with him as well, and from Bobby's perspective, and we've seen recently that he's been demonetized on YouTube, which is really sad, because he had really good content. And I don't know what your thoughts on that is. And does Dawagram have any sort of safeguard against this types of censorship, especially for Muslim content creators?
Yeah, obviously, because I'm not going to do anything in it. But it's like, I heard what happened was that like a bunch of Hindus mass flagged him or something.
I don't understand why, because I couldn't understand. His content was really sort of, I don't understand what happened. It was really out of nowhere.
What you'll notice is the modern day male is very useless. Oh, how dare you, so arrogant. They're very just like, they don't do anything. It's like, I always say this in my comment sections. There's like 40-year-old guys talking about me, and I go, "You're twice my age, and your life is so shit. You sit and obsess over what I do." Like, they don't do anything. And if they could, it's like David Wood in that. If they could do anything, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. But they're incompetent, and they can't. They can't go do stuff. So they have to keep just poking the bear. This is why I think it's a cucking thing, because I think they want guys to turn around and slap them, because they're like, "Oh, I seen this in my porno movie." So with the Bobby thing, I think he got mass flagged by a bunch of like Hindu guys. But again, it's this, and I like Bobby, and I say this for his benefit. I think it's the dependency you have to watch out for.
Yeah.
We can come on Diagram and you won't have that problem.
Yeah.
Everyone's welcome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So definitely let me know. Keep me updated on how I can join. It'd be really good to get on there, and just be somewhere that's safe, because I've had this discussion with my husband, like, mashallah, alhamdulillah, we're doing well so far, but you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And like you said, it's the dependency. I don't want to be dependent on something that could change tomorrow. And even the content that we're creating, I'm trying to create content to help other people. And if we can do it somewhere where there isn't that risk of everything being shut down, then yeah, it's great. So I'll
Do you
definitely.
ever deal with this where you're like, because this kind of got to me, but you know what's so funny? This actually really bothered me not that long ago, and it actually made me sign up for the World Economic Forum. Because you know when you're trying to help people, and then they're just like, "You're Satan, die," and you're like, "Why?" Like I'll post something on like Telegram and that, and then people will just spiral, and I think, is Mr. Gates actually that bad for wanting a thingy up? Because like the opportunities are everywhere, people trying to help you, and you just don't do anything, and then you wonder why. Like I don't know. I just think like with the content I make, I'm now my mindset, and it was kind of always this. Because I used to, it's funny because before I started posting online, I used to make these videos just for myself. So when I'd be driving to work, I would record myself talking because it's just a way to calibrate your thoughts. I used to do it all the time, and then I posted my shahada on the internet for no reason, and then I checked my phone, and I was like, "Oh, 500,000 views, that's cool." And then I decided to put them up on the internet, and everyone else thought they were kind of cool. So my thinking with content and stuff is just again, it's a rotten tree can't bear a rotten tree can't bear good fruits. A good tree can't bear rotten fruits. So if your internal world is just swell and well, and I think if you're a guy, if what you're feeding your mind is positive, and you're not exerting passions, it's kind of hard to make stuff that people don't like. You know, the good tree can't bear rotten fruits. So my thinking now is I'm not trying to do this like cat, because I had this complex of like kind of like a Captain Saberhole with the world for a while, where I was like, that's it, I'm making diagram and I'm gonna burn everyone to the ground and restore it. And then you're like, we're restoring Sharia, and they're just like, but I want my pornos and my fluoride. And I'm like, all right, well, that's out the window now. So
I
yeah.
think you have to realize some people just have demons that they can't get rid of and don't even know they've got demons. So sometimes people can't be helped, and it has to take something drastic for them to go, wait a second, what's going on? I mean, probably like yourself, I'm sure you spent a long time in that sort of world, and then something must have clicked and you went, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like once you get away from it, you realize like the term blinded by sin is so true.
Yeah.
Like it's not, you're not physically blind, but it's so true. Like as I think, because like my Instagram isn't run by me, and sometimes I'll go on it, and of course you get like messages from like a lot of women and stuff, and marriage requests and things, and it's just like you look back at like the woman, and I don't entertain any of them, right? But and that's not a red pill thing. It's because my fiance runs my Instagram account. Yeah. So, but you look back at like the old things that you used to want to do and stuff, and you realize it's such a spell. Like it's a demon trying to get something out of you. You know, it's you know what's really interesting is with the demon stuff and that you'll speak to like a junkie in Peru and a smackhead in Australia and a smackhead in Britain, and they all describe the same sort of demon jinn that they see. And it's like, is that your brain? Because I say this about schizophrenics, where they're like, you'll be speaking to a schizophrenic, and they're like, you don't see that demon crawling up your shoulder. Are they are they just wacky, or are they like, is their horse blinders off and they're seeing into that realm? You know, so like you look back and you're like, even with the woman thing in that, you're like, you didn't want to do that. It was something else wanting you to do it to get something from you. It's like a demon that you gave consent and they were extracting from you, you know. So when you step away from that world, like the mental clarity you get and just the shock, you're just like, why did I ever care about that? Why did I do that? It's very interesting. The blinded by sin thing's so true.
What do you think about like having multiple wives? Because obviously, like men, they say that men are. I know that we're going off topic, but I just wanted to ask from your
I think it's
perspective.
an inevitability.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it. Like, and I say that not because like I just don't want to do it, because I think, and I mean this with absolute love and respect, but because I'll talk about, because I don't care. Like I don't see the wife thing as an indulgence. I see it as a responsibility. Like it's more like a charity. Because like say diagram goes really well, and I'm in a financial situation where I can take care of people. Well, the alternative, there's two options for women nowadays. Work in a cubicle to pay off money which isn't real, for debt which isn't real, to then take pills which kill you, and watch Barbie and become a feminist and die from an overdose at 50, childless, right? So and eat poisonous food the whole time and get ill. So they have that, or a guy can like give them a family. I see it as a chat. I genuinely, I'm not trying to be like pedantic, or what's the word I'm looking for, like talk down to people. I mean this with sincerity. I see it as like a charity. It's like, okay, a young woman wants a family, she wants a husband she admires and respects. I can give you that if you want. It's less time for me, it's more responsibility for me. I think the people need to get rid of their egos, stop watching Barbie. I can like, he with no sin cast the first stone. I think the reason that girls get resentful at like Zerka and all these guys for saying this is because you actually want. So like guys will be like, women need to have their body count on their forehead. Anyway, I'm going for a BJ. You're just a liar, and you're just lying. Whereas I don't want your stinky ass, so I can throw these stones and they can't really get angry at me because they know I'm not full of shit. So it's like, stop watching Barbie. Barbie is there to get you to be like, oh, well, Jacob and Twilight love Bella, so that means if you want another wife, you don't love me. It's like, no, be an adult. Like when people talk about like Aisha and stuff like that, her at 9 was a more powerful, smart woman than most women at 40 nowadays. Like most women at 40 nowadays are just like, Cardi B told me to kill my kids, time to drink alcohol. You're a child, you're infantilized. I think polygyny is going to become an inevitability because well, I mean this with respect, and I understand why women do this. It's a protection thing. But it's like, you won't marry the guy at Starbucks for good reason because he can't do anything. So if all women want a husband, yet they won't marry 80% of the men, well, sorry, you're going to end up sharing, and that's fine. I think it's an inevitability because 90% of guys are, and I have compassion, they're castrated, they're poisoned, their head's full of nonsense, they're scared and alone, and the Reba situations murdering your ability to live without debt. I understand that. So I think polygyny is going to become an absolute inevitability. I don't want anything to do with it because I just like, I posted about it from a very neutral standpoint, and I got messages from women who were like, hi, I support you and I really like you. And then I get messages being like, I wanted to marry you, but you're such a pig misogynist. I'm like, I didn't even say I wanted to do it. I'm just saying that's going to happen. And I don't want it anywhere near me. Like, I mean this with respect and love, but it's like, I don't know. I think it's going to become an inevitability, but you need to, because you know these posts that they put online, and it's not, I have compassion with everyone who falls for these. I don't hate women. I don't hate men. I want to help people. But know these accounts that will put, like I said earlier, it'll be like, oh, well, I want a Rolls Royce and he wants to marry me, but he can't even buy a house at 19. Yeah. You're gonna, I'm being serious, you're gonna go back to parents in the house, you and your wife, your kids in the same roof. That's where it's going. And the reason they're giving you all this ego, pride, bad bitch stuff is to stop you doing that. You know, polygyny is a defense. If you look in America now, where all the guys are like trans snedophiles and like David, like, okay, so let's preface this, and I don't care if this gets clipped up and they make like 15 long sequences of videos about me. So you're a woman and you can either marry David Wood, and you'll be sitting there and you'll go to consummate the marriage, and he's like, oh, the Holy Spirit is flowing through me. Would you want to do that, or would you rather share like a Tate? Sorry, is what it is. Not my opinion. So when all the guys in the West are like, Tina, I just wanted a BJ and I'm so scared and sad and oh, dare you. Your birth rate drops and the women become whores. So polygyny is one man who doesn't do that can keep the birth rate up because he can marry 4 women, give them a life, and have 10 kids with each. It's the whole point of it. It's a protection against men becoming cocked, and you can keep the birth rate up and keep your society. Because the one thing they always do, and I say this all the time, it's so obvious, if instead of going into a country and bombing them, which they would get nationalistic, they would procreate more. It's like when you kill a coyote, they just start procreating and making more. So it does the opposite effect. Like when you try herd coyotes, if you kill one, they just start banging nonstop and make more. So instead of doing that, where they get nationalistic, they get patriotic, they get fired up, they fight back, you give the men corn and you give the women Cardi B, and instead of killing 50 million people in 5 generations, no one's had a kid, and you've stopped 50 million people being born, flood it with migrants, take it over. It's warfare. What do you think when It Is a Real Place took over the TV stations in Palace time? and they started pumping pornography. Do you think that was because they really liked them? Do you think they were like, oh, these Palestine guys, we really love them, we're going to give them all pornography? No, it's to cuck the males and drop the birth rate. So the polygyny thing is going to become an inevitability. It just is what it is. It's not my opinion. The sky's blue. It doesn't mean I like want to tango ice blast or anything. It's just how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, my views on it have changed since I've been doing this, because before I actually, when I got married, I was like, my husband would joke about it and I'd be like, there's no way, like, there's no way. And now I'm like, you know what? Like, I can understand why people do it, and I can understand both sides of the coin. So I definitely respect it a lot more, and I can understand why.
One thing to watch, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, I just get so fired up about this. One thing to watch out for, and it's on Instagram because it's free and you're the product and they're trying to subvert Islam, is I seen some dork who I could just crush, right? And he was like bragging about his 4 wives that his like rich dad obviously bought him or something. And they're trying to make the polygyny thing a trophy where it's like, I've got 4 wives and I get to squirt on all of them. That women will hate that. They'll hate you for it because you want them. Whereas, like, have you seen it as like, so say, and I really don't want to do it because I'm just paranoid about Barbie infecting my life. And I mean that with love, but like, my fear is you're working on diagram, you get into politics. I might run for PM in like 2 years, I'm not kidding. You get into politics and you're like, right, we're saving the world. And you come home and someone's like, I seen Barbie tonight, and Barbie said that if Jacob doesn't love you, that you should like kill him and cut his dick off in his sleep and divorce him and take. I don't want it near me. But say like me and because I've had this conversation with my fiance because I don't want it, but I'm prefacing like how it works. It's like, would you rather see your sister in that scenario that I said 10 minutes ago, where it's like in debt, alone, depressed, paying for money which isn't real, hell? Or would you rather I took her in, I can give her a family, I can give her protection, I can give her someone to go on walks with at night and speak to and, you know, fulfill desires and all this great stuff. I'm not getting into it. Would you rather that or she dies? Because the reason they give you like Twilight and Barbie is to go, no, because a real bad bitch wouldn't do that. It's like you're not thinking clearly, you know. It's about how like it's just is what it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much for coming on today. I just want to say I think it's great that you've created Diagram. Can you let people know how can we join? Is it just going to come up in the App Store? Like,
yeah, it'll come up in the App Store. You can go on now if you want. It's www.diagram.com. We have the web version on now. If you want to go on and help out, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
But it's going up on the App Store. The best way, because people have asked how can I help, I think the best way is to help yourself because it helps everyone. It helps if you have a family and you value their life not becoming hell, get them all on. You know, the way to help is just to spread the word and get going. When you come on, be cool and all that. And yeah, so I'll be on the App Store in like 10 days or something. I can't wait for it, inshallah.
Yeah, definitely let me know. I'll definitely join as soon as it's up. I'm really excited for it, and especially as a content creator, it's good to be on a different platform and on a Muslim platform as well. So I'm really looking forward to it coming out. Thank you so much for coming on. And
not to worry. I've very much enjoyed it. It was good to see you.
It's good to see you too. And inshallah, I'll speak to you again soon. And give love to your fiance. And inshallah, everything goes well in the next 10 days. I will do dua for you. Inshallah, it will be great.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Okay. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.
Love this.